when Robert asked me to say a few words, I was thrilled. Robert is a person that I highly respect. I am a third-generation banker. My father was a banker. My grandfather was a banker. But they also happened to be both state legislators. My father served in the unicameral, but my grandfather served both before him in the bicameral and then later several terms in the unicameral. And I remember as a child spending quite a bit of time with my grandfather on the legislative floor. In fact, I voted a number of bills for him. There was, at that time, little switches that you would throw to vote, and he had a good time with it and then would correct my votes before the final call. My father and grandfather served because they wanted to better the interests of the state of Nebraska. They really were into it because of wanting to do the right thing for not only their district, which was the first district down in Richardson County, but generally for the people of Nebraska. And that's one of the qualities that I see really in Robert Hilkemann. He's a person who's going to be there for others. Now, in banking, we have the C's of credit, collateral and capacity and so forth. Robert has all those. That's not it. But in running for an office like this, I think there are some other C's that are really important. And these are the C's that get you A pluses in my book, and I think in our book. First would be conscience. He's a man of conscience. I think that for me, that means he has a moral compass. He has a wonderful family. Julie, you are truly in this together. And I've known his kids, and a wonderful family. In fact, if there were ever an issue upon which I would have a question of personal nature, he'd be a counselor to me too. He's that kind of an individual. The second C, I don't think this will shock anybody, conservatism. Now, I'm not saying that I'm not using this in any political sense of political party or ideology. In Nebraska, at least my understanding of conservatism means common sense. And Robert Hilkemann has a lot of common sense. He's a successful businessman, a very respected practitioner, and that's the kind of experience and background I think that would benefit a legislator. Third, compassion. I've known Robert as a person of great generosity, and those of you that know Robert know what I'm talking about. I believe that he would be an individual who would be interested in all of the people in the 4th District and the state of Nebraska, and not just those who have influence. He's a collaborator. You can't have a business for 37 years without having collaborated with employees. And frankly, all of us who happen to also be appreciative of the fact that he had a foot fetish and are patients of his appreciate that. But I believe he's a person who's already inquired and is curious and is inquiring about what makes for a prosperous and a just community, and has talked to a number of individuals. I think he stands for a real fundamental sense of fairness. And lastly, and this is perhaps as important as any, something that Jim really exhibits significantly and I believe Robert does too, is character. He has the consistency and the balance and the trust, I think, of individuals with whom he's been in contact. So, Robert, I introduce you. I support you for the 4th District.